My peeps, my people. I mean, you're not my people, you're the people. Today I just wanted to touch on how quickly things can shift. You know, it seems like we're going on, sometimes forever, kind of soldiering on, but marching in circles. Something like that, where we think we're going forward and suddenly oh, here I am again. Didn't I just go this way? Maybe I'm passing it from a different direction. I mean, it's just this sort of dizzying sense of where am I? And I have reoccurring dreams a lot. They recur, of being lost. You know, getting off a highway and there aren't any signs and the street lights are out and nobody's around to ask directions, and I've been here before and I ought to know my way, but I don't. So there's something about that, like marching in circles or something that's spiral, that feeling that you've been there before, maybe a kind of deja vu feeling. So I think that's about it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say was, you know, I woke up this morning, I felt awful, and I just could barely even get my head off the pillow. And was feeling pretty sorry for myself, and like, you know, I live alone, people pop in to visit, but not for very long, and you know, and wham, then I'm left by myself. And then my daughter called and described what her day was going to look like and the courage she has to summon for this. She lives on an island. Consider yourself blessed, you guys, because you are. She lives on an island in Long Island Sound, and so in order to get anywhere, they have to take a ferry. And to get on a ferry, I don't know if you've ever done it, there's a guys going like this, and it's a fairly narrow, you need to get, because they pack the cars in. So the guy will be going a little bit to this way and a little bit that, oh, okay, come, oh, you know, and she has great driving chops, but she's been on the island so long, like highway driving is terrifying, and you know, even getting ashore and then navigating with a baby in the back seat, you know, in their car seat, and anyways, it's a thing. So I just find her immensely brave, and it right away made me feel like, you know, the fact that I have a hard time getting across the Rum by myself, she's having to get in a car and cross on the ferry boat, and I like that idea of being the ferry boat, with her not yet 3-year-old daughter. It's raining. It could be rough waters. So I immediately thought, well, you know, like we're all doing it. It's a different challenge for all of us. You know, she's just got a almost 3-year-old daughter. You know, I've got a I think she's 36-year-old daughter. You know, there isn't a person watching this or a person in the world who isn't up against some kind of challenge. And that's just how it is. And we soldier on. You know, there's that idea of just get up and walk. But there's also an idea of somehow marching in place or marching in some kind of spiral. Like it's really not linear. And you never really arrive. You know, the destination, so the goalpost keeps moving. The nearer your destination, the more you slip sliding away, says Paul Simon, which is very poignant, you know. And always these pairs of opposites, like, you know, I yearn for a partner. And when I see people in partnerships, I think, how do they negotiate this? I've been in a few. And it's just so tricky. So being alone, by comparison, in some ways is easier. And I'm not alone here because I'm connected to you and I'm connected to spirit. And these few people in my life who are so important to me, and even the people I don't know in the grocery store line or the traffic jam, you know, are in a funny way dear to me and poignantly close. Queen of Cups. That's the one who embodies connection. You know, connection is their kind of default go-to. And she's like this. You know, she's got her prayer hands right over her heart. Open-hearted, loving, and sometimes, not to a fault, but it can be overgiven, can be open to people who aren't open back and don't, you know, this person doesn't always know how to shut it off. You know, even if somebody else isn't giving back, we'll just continue and continue and continue to reach out, to give, to be open. And sometimes it's not a waste of time, but the timing's wrong. Or the other person just can't give back, that they're, I don't think we often understand, because we can't. We're sort of in separate bodies. Some of us are empaths, so we begin to enter into that territory of understanding somebody else, even when they're not talking to us. But even the empaths are in their own apparent separate lives, you know, end at their own fingertips. And while I don't think that's the ultimate truth, it is true that we can forget how to see things from the other person's perspective. Sun card. Card of Leo, fire energy, life force energy, divine masculine, in that it's action taking. And I always see sun card, see there's the ladder. It's like ascending to a higher self. Sun can speak to the self. You know, ego in that solar plexus sense of I'm here, I'm alive, and I know it. And I act on the basis of this strength, the inner strength. And it brings me to a next stage. This ladder going up. Somehow the sun, it rises, you know, every day. And we must carry on. Whoa. Okay, 5 of Swords. 5 speak to the need for change. Swords are mental energy, or, you know, what we see, what we think, what we understand. And look, they're all like stabbing at this bird. And there's a crown falling off. I'm not sure what that's about. We do have sort of ascension in fire energy, and then the crown, you know, the hierarchy is somehow disturbed. Yeah, I don't quite know. Here's the next one. Ace of Wands, the new beginning in fire energy, like that sun card of Leo. You know, this is something that's growing, it's sprouting already, and there's the sun in the background. And it's almost like the sun ignites the wand, but it's also the wand, the fire energy, you know, the burning stick, ignites the sun. It's a kind of interchange between the personal, the I card, the individual ego, and the kind of archetypal sun energy of the uber I, or the some kind of shared self. But so, there's been like a disturbance in the field. Isn't that from the Matrix? There's a disturbance in the field that shakes up the hierarchy. And then life comes back. What's this crown falling business? Wow, Strength card. Right under the Sun card. Another card of Leo. And this one, you know, strength is the ability to endure the slings and arrows. These are like the arrows. I was thinking this morning, what are the slings? I'm not sure. But this is a card of overcoming. And it's fire energy, which is all about doing. But in this case, the doing is sitting in a kind of lotus posture on the archetypal lotus leaf, a place of rebirth. And this is in 3D, the new thing, the firebrand. And fire energy in 5D, or major arcana energy of the archetype, and see the infinity symbol above this character's head. You might be dealing with a Leo, you might be a Leo, you might just be tapping into that inner strength. You know, it's inner strength. This isn't about going out and, you know, throwing punches at the world. This is sitting down contemplatively to tap into the eternal source energy. And then it comes right into you. Aces can speak to the I, the individual, the one. Under 5 of Swords, wow, King of Wands. Boy, we have some great fire energy here. He's got the wand right in his hand. He, she, they. This is a card of divine masculine, but it doesn't mean a gender masculine. And forgive me if I keep saying that, but I think it's so important to understand these are the energies that male, female, or however you identify. This is somebody who's self-confident, who knows or who is inspired to take action. It can be a sort of my way or the highway card, but I don't think so. There's such a synchronicity between 3D and 5D here, both in fire energy. But this is also, wands speak to action and direction, and this guy's on the checkerboard. Like, I know my next move. I'm going to do this. I'm going to push through. You know, it'll take my courage, my fortitude, my Leo energy to push through whatever this is. And with all these positive fire energy cards and the Queen of Cups, you know, it all springs from the heart. It's kind of lion-hearted energy. I think can blow right through this. It doesn't mean it won't hurt, because 5 of Swords is painful. And it's often it means being at odds with somebody, or thinking you're at odds with somebody, or a clash of beliefs. But this is kind of like, you know, we shall overcome. Love is the stronger force. And this is a disbelief that that's the case. It's kind of like a prove it. I don't think so. And all the rest of the cards are the proof. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in, you know, our ability to take up the wand and act on it. And that's happening to the nth power here. On Ace of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. So 2 aces right on top of each other. Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. Fire energy, earth energy. Do it, believe it, take action. And this is Pentacles energy. Keep it grounded. There's an opportunity for something to become real. And I think in part, it's that I business. 2 aces speak to the individual to become real and to shine. King of Wands, Strength card, Sun card, to shine, Ace of Wands, to light the way. Okay, tell us about this King of Wands some more. 10 of Wands. So that's the full cycle, the Ace of Wands to the 10, and then it bounces back to the Ace again. You know, this is kind of the accomplishment. Having done this much, there's something about transplanting or, you know, new growth. Having completed some sort of cycle, a new growth, a new beginning, a new fertile beginning, earth energy. Something can really grow from this. But it involves a kind of pruning. You know, you prune away the old growth so that the new growth can, all the energy in the plant can then go into the new shoots and sprouts. And tell us about Queen of Cups, please. These two. On Queen of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. In Pentacles energy again. You know, this is somebody, 9s can speak to the personal truth, to the personal life. This is somebody who's invested Pentacles energy in growing something, is stable and loving. I don't think this person is overgiving, because they're 9 of Pentacles. They you know, they keep some resources to themselves. You know, they don't deplete themselves. I said this one's so open-hearted, they may be overgiving. 9 of Pentacles is a card of stability in the self. You know, paying attention to one's own growth, Ace of Pentacles. So we got 2 cards of the self, 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, and the Sun card. A card of ego in the best sense, and the Ace of Wands. I mean, this is pretty cohesive, and I hope I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense. On 5 of Swords, Page of Swords. That's a card of the student, of curiosity, of beginner's mind, of taking a second look or a first look, or, you know, looking into something. And it might be looking into, this person is looking into their own part in this 5 of Swords energy, because in traditional Rider-Waite it shows a battlefield with a victor and losers. And this might be even, let me look into that. What's my role? I want to learn something about that. You know, sword energy, I want to learn it. Perhaps I want to change my mind. You know, not be so combative. And in this case, remember I said there are 2 sides, that warring factions? Well, here it's just represented as these two paths. This one is popped right out of the frame. You know, there's a frame around it. Something like outside the frame of reference, or, okay, is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, on Strength card? Yes. The Fool, more fire energy. Holy guacamole. Fool card is the first card in the major arcana. Again, a card of the self. So there's a lot of emphasis on kind of, you know, conserve your energy, give and love, but don't give too much. You're on a journey toward wholeness. This guy, being the first card in the major arcana, has to leap into their own life. Fool is seen as on the edge of a precipice in traditional Rider-Waite. And here, I don't know if you can see it, but You know, the boots are laced up, and then there are these series of little rings. It's almost as if, you know, in a circus, the person who can have the plates on the stick and keep them spinning. It looks like that to me. The plates on the stick. Oops, the plates on, plates on the stick. So there's a lot of archetypal energy here. Sun, strength, Fool, all fire energies. And it doesn't necessarily mean a fire sign, it could. We all have every energy in our chart somewhere. So this focus on sun signs might or might not be applicable in that literal sense of my sun sign is Leo, and therefore this could as easily apply to any, because we have cups, pentacles, swords, and wands. It's like the full panoply. And Fool can be considered risky, you know, but it's something that's taking flight. And then there's this snake down here. And snakes could be considered sort of dangerous. Look out, you fool, you know. But the Fool usually has a dog nipping at their heels. Here it's the snake. Gets down here, yeah, snake. Snake did it. Snakes represent change, the shedding of the skin. You know, beginning again. Fool energy, beginning again. In fire energy, Ace of Wands. There's something magical happening here, and it's sort of like the magic wand, and here's the manifestation in 3D of that potential. Aces speak to potential. You know, the spark of inspiration and then making it real for yourself and for the other guy, because you're open-hearted. So I want to find a little bit more about this Page of Swords. You know, it's almost like Page of Swords has a sword in hand, like the compass needle. You know, these two paths. I've picked a path. I'm now stepping through the frame of reference, and maybe out of the idea that you know, everything has to be a fight. We have to choose sides. We think we do. And there's something about that falling crown. You know, here we have the king with the crown. Yeah, I don't know. Can you tell us about Page of Swords, Sun, the discovery of the self? The beginner's mind that says, I don't need to stay in this kind of mindset. I can change it. The 5 energy of change. You know, let me look into that. Let me take a fresh look at it. On Sun, 4 of Pentacles. That's earth energy, and usually is perceived as a stuck energy. And there is this kind of what looks to be a maze. You know, kind of stuck. So grounded, because here's the ladder, remember? So grounded, earth energy, 4 of Pentacles. You know, how do I let go? How do I ascend? How do I change my mindset? Tell us about this 4 of Pentacles. This is the Radiant Tarot, by the way. I think it's a great deck. They're all wanting to go whack-a-jaw. Here we go. 6 of Pentacles. A card of give and take. It's not 4 of Pentacles stuck energy. I mean, this can be the pause. And then something changes, Five of Swords changes in that combative, you're on one side, I'm on the other, to the, we can grow this together. Six implies, it shows a card of help, a card of abundance, a card of growth. In earth energy, 3D energy, this is a card not of non-growth, but almost like the dormant stage, something underground, something that in 3D may appear to be stuck, but the Sun card is a card of coming into being, of self-revelation. There may be a divine masculine who was stuck and is really coming into their own power. They've closed out a cycle. It's not a gender masculine, it's the action-taking individual. Wands energy, action, I know how to do this. There's stability happening here, and it's sort of like from the ground up, that ladder image again. From the ground up into the light. Is there another? Yes, there is. Okay, let's just see. What's the new beginning about? Because we have two aces and the Fool card. Is it this one? Star. Couldn't be better. A card of Aquarius. A card of healing. And sword energy. The change. The investigation. The willingness to reconsider or have a beginner's mind. To drop the old ideas, sword energy, Five of Swords. In favor of Page of Swords, the exploration, the curiosity. And in sword energy, card of Aquarius, being washed clean somehow. Washed clean of contention or hurt or bad words spoken or arguments or, some kind of clash where you think there's my side and your side. This is a kind of meeting place card. Aquarian energy is the overview, the higher perspective, where it's not your side or my side, it's our side. It's a card of the collective. Collective healing, collective rebirth. Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Star card. The guides, the overview. And the self is not obliterated. It grows, Pentacles energy, with the sort of healing waters of the collective. Here's the bird in the bathtub. There's a kind of purification happening. And it may be something that takes place, we're in Aries time right now. Takes place between now and the summer. The Sun card, the Strength card. But it's a definite change in state of mind from Five of Swords through Page of Swords, the card of discovery, to a card of guidance and healing and the collective energy. So there's a lot of individual energy, these aces and Nine of Pentacles. The card of the ego, Sun, and so on. But this is a card of all of us. We may be kind of fighting different battles. And yet, in the same sword energy, there's the collective victory, healing, overview. I think that's pretty good. I'll take it. Sign me up. There is Aquarius in the star, Leo in strength, Aries in the Fool, Leo again in the Sun card. A lot of fire here, and a lot of earth. Earth, wind, and fire. All right, my friends, that's it, I think. I hope to see you again. I hope you are well. If you're feeling iffy, something good is around the corner. Change is always around. I mean, that's the constant, right? And it looks to be, the cards are saying, you know, it's you in conversation with your unconscious mind. That's how somebody, a friend of mine, described tarot. It like lays out a template or suggests a conversation between you and your unconscious mind. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana, cards of the collective unconscious, the collective unconscious. And in sword energy, it speaks to both the collective and the enlightenment. We're being guided somewhere, away from the battlefield to this land of possibilities. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords, Star. And it's like, listen to the guides. You know, find the stillness inside. Sometimes we only get a moment, a glimpse, a peek at, you know, pause in the yeah of the daily, of our daily lives, of the environment. And in that pause, messages will come through for your growth, for your benefit, for your stability, for your happiness. I love you guys. I really do. And thank you for all your support. I mean, you're amazing. And I want to do a members reading. I'm just trying to get to the place where I can do a second read. I'm not quite there. Maybe later on today. But I love you all. Members, viewers, anybody who's watched for this long. And please do this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It's free. And yeah, just be well. I love you, and I'll see you next time.